New Garnier Men Acno Fight Gentle Cleanser. ये है gentle on skin, tough on pimples.
West Indies have flexed some serious muscle in their first Super 8 game. Zimbabwe, they've had their story, they've had their moment, but they were second by some distance after the Windies piled on the runs, 254 of them. And in spite of Brad Evans hitting 5 of the Zimbabwean 12 sixes in that innings, had some fun, it was always going to be a target too far. So we talk about the West Indies as a serious team, unbeaten, getting better with each game, 5 wins now. And watch out, South Africa and India to come in the Super 8s. This is ESPN Cricket Foot Timeout, powered by Garnier Men. Powered by is a nice way to start today's game. Faf to Plessis, Dasgupta. That is a powered performance by a team that means business, Faf.
Yeah, the big bad West Indians, big fellas, just dominating the proceedings tonight. What a performance in all departments, spotless. Really, that's what you want to see as a team when you're walking into the Super 8. You're going big in the ground. We're one of the teams to win this competition.
Yeah, it just reminded me of 2016 Wankhede. Remember that? Was it quarterfinal, semi-final against India? Yeah, it just reminded me of that game there and how dominant they were. I mean, almost the same kind of performance here again.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to remind that India do lose at other venues also, which our friend Parthiv Patel would want us to mention, which rightly so. He's right. He's absolutely right.
Yeah.
I want to seriously ask about the parallels of 2016 now, and you remember that team so well. We still remember it, and West Indies cricket has been through everything in between that, and how close they are to genuinely the tag of favourites or that team. Are they really kicking on all cylinders here, Faf, from that 2016 team?
Look, that was an unbelievable cricket team. I think they tick so many boxes. Their batting lineup is probably in a similar bracket.
Yes.
Obviously, had guys like Gale, which is probably the world's best T20 player ever. But I feel there's depth in this batting lineup. So certainly this batting lineup, I can vouch for and say they're just as dangerous. I still would like to see this bowling attack against an India or a South Africa on a good wicket. They bowled really well tonight, but they also had a big score and you had scoreboard pressure. So once again, so far, all you can judge them on is the way that they're bowling, and it's been very good.
Their batting, I think, should not come as a huge shock to a number of us. When they get going, that's how they bat. But to that 2016 team, quietly successful were how they bowled power play spin, when Samuel Badri bowled, when Sunil Narayan was in this team. Gurukesh Moti and Akil Hussain between them today, 7 for 56 of 8 overs. They are proving to be quite the threat as a spin bowling pair.
Sure, and they've done it in Sri Lanka, and they've done it here in India as well over the last, I mean, both these guys have been doing well last 12 months. It's not just about this tournament. They've been consistent with their performances. The other important thing is 2016 and now, my biggest challenge, they've always had good individuals in the last few years as well. It's just that whether they can play together as a team or not. They always, in the last few years, to me at least, look like 11 good individuals, but then again, playing a team sport. But this team looks so much like the 2016 where they were good individuals, plus they were playing as a team together. And so that makes these guys that much more dangerous.
Yeah, and I think the common guy that I would single out is Sammy.
Exactly so.
Sammy is that he's looked at in the Caribbean as the guy that unites the islands.
Yeah, he's a bit of a father figure there, isn't he?
He's not. Yeah, if you look at that team, it was superstars.
Yeah.
And he was actually a captain in the superstars. Remember me speaking about the best player in the team or a player. He was a guy that batted at 9, bowled maybe an over or 2, but he was the guy that pulled the islands together with all the island stuff that always goes on in the Caribbean. And I think a certain way of his leadership is also in this team, in the way that he can just bring all those personalities together and get the best out of them.
It's going well so far. Let's just break down on a skill level some of the bowling we saw from Gurukesh Moti and Akil Hussain. It looked like there were some peaches or some unplayable balls, which bowling second at the Wankhede you don't expect from left-arm spinners. Which one stood out for you and why?
I think tactically they were smart there with Akil Hussain. There was a plan where we discussed it on throwing into someone like him to Bennett on a wicket, on not having seen him before, and that was an absolute beauty. You normally don't associate him beating the bat on the outside. He beats you on the inside quite often. So when a ball spins and bounces like that, then it shows you that's a quality ball. So the way he started the innings, they're two very different spinners. One is a power play, almost like a Badri, brilliant in the power play, and then Moti comes in after 6 and he just shuts the game down.
Yeah, Moti seems to have a lot more of the classical sort of
it's more
skills.
like a red ball orthodox, while Akhil is more T20 contemporary white ball bowler. But then if he starts turning the ball, it's very, very difficult.
How do they get it to turn? If I could ask something simply like that.
I guess the seam position's got to do a lot with it. If you get the right seam position, obviously you get enough revs and all, but on a surface, especially a red soil surface where it's gripping a little bit, if it lands on the seam, chances are it'll turn.
I also think, and I'm not sure if the wicket changed much from the first to the second innings, but just looking at the pace that Akhil Hossain was bowling and Moti, there was a little bit of just above the eye line for the ball to have time to spin. And you look at someone like Sikandar Raza bowled very, very quick to try and bowl defensive.
So do you sense that if you're watching these two, they have now almost perfected how to bowl in India in T20 cricket? These two spinners?
For me, I wouldn't say perfected. They've done extremely well. Again, what the point that Faf made about the opposition as well. They've been excellent. Please don't take anything away from that. They've been excellent, but let's just hold on when they play, let's say, South Africa, India, to get a better idea of how good they are. They've again been excellent. Please don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I would agree with that, because I saw them in South Africa and I've played against both of them a lot of cricket, and they are amazing spinners if there's a little bit of something in the wicket, both of them. But it's the test will come now when they play against a lot of lefties in India, how they're going to respond to that. And South Africa played both of them really well in South Africa.
Well, your wish is going to come true, because the two teams you keep mentioning are the two teams they're going to play next. How about that though, for a 107-run win? There is already a strong conversation of net run rate that's been triggered as a result of yesterday's game, right? So what does this do? Does it really not do much? Because now you'll expect South Africa will also play ZIM, India will also play ZIM, and with due respect to Zimbabwe, they'll all try and get a big win. But I think that's harder for the teams that meet them second and third. Tonight clearly was not Zimbabwe's night. But does this 107-run margin do anything for, say, damage India's chances further in any way?
More than that, I think if you're India, you're thinking about West Indies and the challenge that they've got to offer, especially against India in Calcutta. I think that's what you're looking at more than anything else. I think, as a team, net run rate is important, but then the first thing you want to do is win well.
Yeah.
And then again against West Indies, West Indies, I guess it's the last game.
It's the last game.
Right? So
Super
they would
Eights.
have a fairly good idea if it comes to that.
5.3. That sounds like a huge number. I know that in T20 cricket, you can actually make up those margins of net run rate better than in ODI cricket, for what it's worth. So if you get 250-run wins, which is not easy, but that's sometimes what it can be. But plus 5.3, South Africa plus 3.8 after their fluke win yesterday, and India on the minus, so too Zimbabwe. But let's spend a little bit of time on Zimbabwe over here. Feel for them. Were they simply outclassed? Were they victims of their own errors and mistakes today? How would you review that from a Zimbabwean point of view?
I just feel they were bullied. They were bullied on a wicket that suited West Indies with their power, their muscle. They didn't have the resources on those conditions. A flat Wankiri pitch has been the downside of many bowling attacks and good bowling attacks, apart from someone like a Bumrah that always bowls well because he's got so much skill. So I just think conditions was up against them, and the powerhouse of West Indies played it really well. They set the game up, and then the powerhouse came in and they did their thing.
What's their biggest learnings from here? Because they'd really want to put in a better shift against India at Chennai and against South Africa when these two teams play.
I guess the bowling side of things, as in having a plan B, C, and anything else, getting the defensive side of their game, plan better that side of the game. Because what happens, I personally believe, is on good batting surfaces, the differences they magnify. On slower surfaces, the differences in quality and skill, they kind of diminish a little bit. So because they're going to play on good surfaces from here on, I would like to believe, on good batting surfaces, I won't say good surfaces, good batting surfaces, that's where I think they might want to look at their defensive side of their bowling.
Yeah, so I think even looking at Chapak and venues like that, slightly bigger, not by much, but slightly bigger. So I think bowling attacks like that either needs slow pitches or they need big grounds where there's a bit more margin for error when you're not hitting the middle of the bat. But small grounds like Waikiri and Calcutta and places like that, half a bat, especially these West Indian boys, quarter of a bat and it's 6.
Well, they're playing India next, and the slow pitchers seem to be following India around. So maybe they'll get a slow pitch for the next one at the Chepauk.
India's pretty good on slow pitches, aren't they?
Yes, yes. That only goes to further see how impressive South Africa's win yesterday was. There's a quick couple of questions on our YouTube Live. Well, finally, the curators in Chennai know what kind of pitch has to be prepared for the 26th of Feb. It's funny how in the last 24 hours, one of the many conversations that's been triggered as a result of yesterday's game at Ahmedabad is surfaces. And, you know, whether India would be better off playing on this. I don't mean to make everything about India, but when you look at the expectations of that team, and then you see a pitch at the Wankhede like this, India would have loved to play here. That surface was never going to suit India, the one that they had yesterday.
Yeah, I think we shouldn't make too much of all the pitches.
Yes.
As professionals and cricketers that we are, you are expected to perform on the pitch that you get rolled out on the day.
Yep.
It's certainly not a Nagpur pitch in a test match, I can tell you that. So the wickets, even yesterday's wicket, but there was still a lot of good in that wicket. You know, there was a team that scored a lot of runs on that wicket. So the wicket so far has been good. This is another great wicket. The wickets, I think the standard has been great of the wickets.
Yeah, I mean, listen, let's not go by bilateral series. I mean, if you look at on a serious note, I mean, look at all the World Cups so far, starting from 2007. I mean, you've got pitches like that where there is a competition between bat and ball as well.
Even the last T20 World Cup.
Yeah, exactly so. So I mean, and let's also understand this. The pitches are under ICC now. It's not under the home board.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, the ICC curators there, I believe, is a gentleman from New Zealand, if I'm not wrong, who's the head of pitches, I guess, in the ICC. So yeah,
I like it. I have no problem at all with it. I just love taking questions from the fans.
Yeah, no, that smile of yours, man.
I'm a happy man. I'm just happy. I'm happy in fine company with the two of you, right? What else? Yes, now I'm getting grief on our live saying you don't want to make everything about India and you started talking about India. Well, I'm sorry. We've done a nice detailed chat on both Zimbabwe and West Indies.
Out.
Yeah, they called me out. I'm happy to take that. I should be corrected when I get it wrong. All right. Shimron Hetmyer is player of the match. He says it means a lot more so because he didn't get a lot in the last game. He just wants to replicate the things he's been doing well in the last 2 months. He loves number 3. Feels good. A lot easier now as I've been doing it often. Having the backing from everyone makes it a more comfortable headspace. Yeah, I think this is a big win. If you came in pre-tournament and thought, like, what are we going to do about number 3? We've thought about it. Let's hope Hetty fires. Hetty firing seems to be such a big part of the West Indies success story.
And that's a really good comment, because how I see that is he looks at having the right processes in place. And you can very much take it for granted when you inform like that. But it's getting your processes right every single time. You do the same things to give yourself the best chance of scoring runs. It's no fluke. There's a process behind the way that, and a method behind putting the scores on the board that he's doing. It's not coming in and trying to hit every ball for 6. He's watching the ball and reacting. And because he's got so much power and confidence at the moment, he's got a lot of options.
Faf, the other thing is, just a question for you. In T20 format, we keep talking about flexible batting orders and all. But someone like Hetmyer, knowing that he's going to bat at 3, how much does that help, even though we keep talking about flexibility and all of that?
I quite like roles definitions and stability and roles in terms of, especially your top 4. Like I feel like I like being clear to what your role is going to be over the next few weeks. So you almost have a similar entry point every single time. After that, sometimes flexibility comes in place when there's matchups and left and right and all of those things. But the fact that they've gone, Hetty, you're going to bat 3 for the World Cup, I think a player like that then thrives because he knows this is what I'm going to get. He's not sitting on the side, on the bench, watching the coach or the captain, who's going in next, who's going in next. This is my role and it's clear.
All right, very good. Just a couple of questions more, which we'll take. Anmol asks, is negative bowling, I think what you mean is defensive bowling, I think bowling units still practice and try to execute. I guess when the West Indies have your number like they did in the first innings, is defensive bowling sometimes something you need to resort to earlier? Did you not see that today?
Yes, and that's, I think, what we're speaking about is on wickets like that, the negative bowling, or you call it defensive bowling, is trying to go there a little bit earlier. So even if in a power play you feel like a team's really coming at you, just running in and bowling top of off, then it's making that defensive switch in your mind and tactically between the captain and the bowler that maybe we're going for that Yorker now. Or the 7th over of the game, we're actually bowling someone to bowl defensive. We're trying to bowl a few wide Yorkers or a few straight Yorkers. And you go to death a little bit earlier because you're in that death mindset. You're trying to shut the batting unit down versus just the normal, let's just do what we normally do, but now we're going for 6 and for 6 and for 6. So it is a discussion that needs to happen on the field. And also the other one is, how do you try and get the guy that's doing most of the damage off strike? Because even tonight you could see there was Hetty that was going tremendously. On the other side you got
Powell
Rodman.
was less than run a ball for 15 balls.
So the conversation there between skipper and bowler is, where's your best option of getting him off strike? Now it sounds a lot simpler than it is, but it's just trying to, when you're bowling 6 balls at him, you're trying to think, how can we get this guy off strike so we can bowl more balls at the guy that's not going at 240, but that's going at 120.
So it's almost, you try and take them to one side of the field, you try and sort of just cut down
whatever that bowler's
comfortable
doing with and trying to get him off strike. It doesn't work like that always, but it's just the mindset of trying to do that.
All right, one more very quickly. How does Faf still manage to look this good? Asks TGC fan.
Is that your question?
No, it's not. It's not. TGC fan, how does Faf still look this good? Is he a model? I've had a few of these line up. I haven't taken any of them, but now I might as well. I think one of them was, please tell Faf it's not Milan Fashion Week.
I'm sorry, guys.
You've got enough of this your entire life, haven't you? You're a stylish man.
I would lie if I say I didn't enjoy the compliment. But thank you very much. Thank you.
That's very, very classy of you, Faf. Very good. Before I wrap it up, special mention to Brad Evans, who before tonight, I think has a T20 best score of around 34. A T20 I score of even less. He averages 8. He certainly looked better than that.
Unbelievable striking.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and striking not just like one-sided or one-dimensional. He had that flick or a lap and then a pull and then down the ground as well. Yeah, I mean, quite a few shots he played.
Get him up the order.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Certainly a case for it. Batted 8 today. Who knows where he bats next? Right, that's pretty much it. Thank you very much to Deep Dasgupta and to Faf du Plessis. Anyone willing to call the West Indies as the second semi-final team of this group just yet? And when I say second, you know who I mean with the first.
India, right?
I still think India, but I love what I saw tonight. The West Indies played a great game of cricket, and I hope that it makes for a fascinating game against India.
All right. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Deep, thank you so much.
Thank you.
For your return back, and we hope to see you again very soon on our network. Faf, you're not going anywhere. Put on another great look for tomorrow and get everyone excited. It's a good one tomorrow, actually, because Pakistan have been frustrated with the weather and they're going to be in action against an England team that are managing to get the results, even if we haven't seen the perfect performance. So Super 8 points up for grabs, build up just around the toss, live on ESPN Cricket Info Timeout, so do join us then. ESPN Cricket Info Timeout, powered by Garnier Men, of course.
New Garnier Men Acno Fight Gentle Cleanser. ये है